2, 1 putt, par 4, birdie, woo-hoo, new driver, info, replace, M2, par 5, fairway, what you fin do? Think I'll try to get on into, start right, good line, good view, in Drew.
It's like 1:30 in the morning, and we're headed 550 miles approximately to the Pine Barrens.
Shooter McGavin, 2 thumbs that's up high and 2 fingers pointed at you, pew pew, fairway to green, conk off that I'm playing. Sometimes these par 3 green look like an island, I'm playing to keep it on.
Hey, Dub. Thanks for doing it, buddy.
Thanks, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you. We're here at the Game Above Performance Golf Performance Center in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
No, Ypsilanti.
Ypsilanti. I was in Ann Arbor. We were at Travis Point the other day. That's right. Yeah. I'm still Canadian, as everybody can tell. If you're an American watching the pod, you can tell I'm definitely Canadian. So this is a new center. It's only maybe a year old.
Less than a year. Yeah.
It's beautiful, beautiful. So hopefully right now I've walked around. I'm dropping some video of the center over top of it. Some of the players, as listeners know, we've had a lot of EMU guys on. EMU guys. So we've had a lot of the EMU guys on. Cam Kellett's a good friend of ours, and he was talking about this place a lot. So happy to be here. Check it out. It's beautiful, man. Beautiful. So,
yeah.
So we're at the Andy Walker. I gave you that long intro the one time, so we'll kind of that Tiger Phil intro. So
love it.
Andy's invented Dubline too. So if you haven't checked it out, go check out Dubline. The link for Andy's handles in the show notes below. But Eastern Michigan men's, former tour player, played a couple tour events and stuff. Former EMU men's golf coach, NCAA champ at Pepperdine. 97, do I remember
97,
that?
yeah.
Ooh, good memory. Okay. And 2-time college coach of the year. 7-time national champ, too. So this is your third university you've been with?
This is, I started coaching at a junior college.
Okay.
Yep. And then went to Lynn University in 2018. 2021, went down to Richmond over to VCU, and about 2 months ago accepted the job here at Eastern Michigan University in Ypsilanti, not Ypsilanti.
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 But everybody calls it Ypsi, right? Is that right?
Yeah, they call it
Ypsi.
No, Ypsi.
Ypsi, okay.
Ypsi.
All right.
So.
Maybe that was Ty Saloni calling it Ypsi. I don't know. That's probably the Canadian pronunciation of it or something. But we've been lucky enough, Andy. This is our third chat now. So we've done one while you're at Lynn, or just wrapping things up maybe at Lynn, at VCU, and now here at EMU. So what's what's been the difference in the progression of your career? You've started out kind of at a D2 school, moved into a D1, into another D1 school here. The market's obviously pretty big here. Golf is like, if you're looking, we got, is it Eagle Crest in behind us, beautiful course. Yeah. So how's like the progression been for you over the years?
It's been quick. I mean, it really feels like, this is my 13th year as a head coach. So it's been pretty fast, though. It feels like it's so much faster. And but things have been kind of calculated, right? I mean, I started at the junior college not knowing that I wanted to be a college coach, but worked into there and had some good success there. We won a couple national titles, a couple back-to-back, which was fun. And I knew that was going to be my path into the game. So, or not into the game, into my new career, right? I thought coming out of college, had a good college career, started out, had a good professional career, and thought that was going to be it. And then when I started teaching and coaching, just the passion for it, and I fell in love with it. So then it was like, okay, how do we get to the next level?
So it wasn't really always coaching, though. Like, it was like the thought was to be a player first, and then
that's right, always.
Yeah,
and
okay.
That's what I did from age 5 competitively until. Let's see, I'm about 28 years old now, so let's take the
10 years younger than I am, yeah.
And so, but no, and then, so I played forever, and then played through college, and played professionally for about 12 years.
Okay.
And then, but that was the thing, is to stay out there, keep playing. I was kind of fighting an injury, had limited status in a couple of places, and so next thing you know is, I kind of backdoored. I opened up an academy, started working with a bunch of good college players. I had a friend of mine, Jake Harrington, who's now the head coach at University of New Mexico. I came in and started being his assistant on the junior college team, and it was a team that had a lot of success. And then when he left and went to Little Rock, I took over the program, and just kind of progressed from there. So it was really, things have been calculated. So how do I get to a D1 program where I feel I can win a national title?
Right.
And, there's a couple different ways from the JUCO. I could have went and been an assistant at a couple places, but I don't know if that's really my personality from going from a head coach to be an assistant, possibly at a place where I feel like I have a little bit more to give and I'd have to kind of bite my tongue and not give all I could. So, I decided to take the D2 head coaching route, and it was done that really. Greg Gross, who's the executive director of the Golf Coach Association of America, told me, he said, Andy, we know you won as a player, we know you won as a JUCO coach. Go to a completely different area of the country that you've never lived in, don't have any relationships, and win again, and then no one can tell you anything. And so
that's good
took
advice.
That's
sound.
Took that advice, and plus it had to be at a place that I could win.
Right.
And so so we went down to Lynn University and had some success. And that first year we won a national title. And the whole time I was there for the 3 years, we were like a top 3 or 4 team in the country.
Right.
The whole time. And then opportunity at VCU came up. Went over there and turned a program that, wasn't in shambles, but it wasn't in the best shape possible. And then turned that into a top 30, top 35 team in a pretty quick time. And then this opportunity came here, which is, definitely next level as far as resources and and everything we're doing and the people that are behind it. And you see the Game Above, logo in the background. They play a big part of what we're doing here to give us the resources. And so opportunity came up this summer, and there were quite a few schools that we were talking to. And this gave us the best opportunity for myself and my family and to build what we want.
How was that kind of process like for you? Have you had that process before where you had, I remember when we were kind of chatting and you went to VCU, they were, quote me if I'm wrong, maybe number 125 or something like that, over 100, I think, when you got to the program.
A little bit higher than that.
Yeah. So obviously you left and they're a top 30, 40, program in the country. So having put your name out there, you get some calls and stuff like that. How was that process for you, like as a professional? Like we were kind of talking with Val earlier. You're like, you don't know how to not win. Like I'll cut to some of the table tennis here that you guys were playing because I did get some of that on video with how you guys know them. But
the 1 point that I actually scored.
Yeah, but being a winner and stuff. How was that for you? Like having that process of having like colleges reach out and kind of that hat selection process, if you will.
I was kind of given a heads up before that it was going to start to happen, especially with the season that we were having and the young team there. So I was expecting, some of it. We didn't know that, the college coaching landscape and carousel just turns so much. Come, a team doesn't perform the way they want, a coach gets fired or retires or moves to another one, and there's a domino effect that goes along with it, right? And so, so that's the thing. It kind of just happens that way. And they started reaching out, and then it was like 1, and then it was 2, and it was 3, and it was 4. And so then I started thinking, newly married, and we have a blended family, and it's like, how is that move going to do, with the wife and the kids and everything? And, where's going to be a great lifestyle for not just, myself and what I'm doing professionally, but for my wife and for the kids? And are the schools as good as where they're going to or better? And is the environment as good or better? And so, some of the schools that I spoke to, some people would be like, I can't believe you didn't choose that school to go to. And I go, it wasn't a good fit for myself or my family. And so this was the best fit professionally. This was the best fit for the family, career-wise, to allow me to do what I want to do.
Do you think, too, having like a brand new center, like we kind of talked about the Game Above Golf Performance Center, like obviously – was that kind of did you come check out the facility when you were interviewing? Did you come up and have a look?
Yeah.
So like being, looking to go to a new program, having a new facility where you kind of we talked about it before, you have autonomy, maybe not full autonomy. I'm not really sure exactly, but like, autonomy to like kind of build the program the way you want it with all the new center and stuff. You kind of took me on a tour before to show me all the different things. Was that kind of a good feeling for you as well? Knowing that new spot, new program, everything kind of goes together?
Yeah, it is. And at the same time, there's a little bit of, nerves that go along with it because I just did that, right? I just rebuilt a whole new program, and we got it to where we wanted to go, and we're in a great place there. And then all of a sudden, it's like, let's go do it again. So luckily I had some players that were coming with me, and and that was a great feeling to know the players that I asked were like, yeah, wherever you go, we're rolling. So that was always a good one. But coming here, and they did give me full autonomy.
Nice.
Roster autonomy, which is tough. Those are a lot of tough conversations that had to have been had. And then also being able to put our fingerprint right before me. They hired Josh Brewer from Georgia. And I kind of saw he kind of set the palette, a little bit, or set the plate a little early for what can be done early. And he brought in a really big recruit with him from Georgia, and so that's all they were going to allow us to do, because not everyone has that autonomy to do that.
Yeah.
When you go to a lot of schools, they're like, hey, you got to keep the roster, blah 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 blah, and all these things that you can't do, and it kind of handcuffs the coaches a little bit and coaching staff.
Well, you hear that in like professional sports a lot too, and then because I'm kind of thinking of like the feeling of going in somebody else's office, somebody else has been there for like years or whatever. It would just be such a fresh, like, you're gonna make that jump, you're gonna make that career move. You're coming to a spot where this is you're the first person in that office, so to speak, or like you're kind of like you're making it your own, you're making it the best it possibly can be for the players and whatnot, right? So, Andy, if we can kind of go back a bit, so your playing career started professionally in 97, 98, and around there, right?
Yeah, 99. Yep.
99, okay. So how has the game changed for these recruits that you're bringing in, these players that are on your team now versus then? Well, I don't want to say how many years ago that was.
Yeah,
somebody else could do that. Yeah.
Ago. But, it was – I mean, we didn't have these.
Right.
Right? And we just saw, like, in the golf media, they've been talking about there's, like, an arms race in golf. And teams are spending, 10, 20, $30 million on facilities. And then you have NIL, right? I mean, that's totally different. I mean, kids and parents, in the recruiting process, now that's the first thing they're asking is, what can we get paid? And that's so crazy, because that was illegal, right? We
right.
Talk about that.
Yeah.
And so the game has changed. I think as far as physically, everybody are bombers. We were just talking.
Yeah.
I was talking to Jason Gore a couple days ago about some stuff. We were talking about the difference of the guys that are winning tournaments, the guys that are winning majors, that versus maybe some younger guys that play kind of bomb and gouge. And so in getting his opinion on it, and obviously where he's at the tour, he's hands on, so he gets to see the Ludwigs and Nick and all these young guys out there just killing it every week, and everyone comes out so prepared.
And we were talking about Nick Dunlap the other day.
Unbelievable, huh?
Luke
he
told
me
yeah,
that he was playing college golf
it's
time last year.
Well, because Bryce and I were talking about that with he's got that stat where I think him and Tiger are the only players to win as an amateur and win a PGA Tour event as well, right? So like that's whenever you're kind of in that conversation with Tiger Woods, you and Tiger Woods share this stat, like that's pretty wild,
yeah,
right?
That's pretty good.
Do we have the Tiger? Do we get the Tiger impression? Can we?
No, yeah. It's a little early. It's
still early in the morning. Yeah,
it's a little early.
Yeah.
I'd have my game face on. My track numbers look really, really good. And it's going to be a dogfight out there today.
Yeah, so. I like that, man. I like that. Tiger's always got that kind of like that nasally sort of. Yeah.
It's like he wants to kind of.
Yeah, exactly.
But
so right now we're kind of in recruitment process is kind of wrapped up for you guys. Like you've got all your players rosters.
Yeah.
Pretty much final.
Final. I mean,
okay.
We yesterday was the first day of school, so
yeah.
It was our first official practice, and
team's looking good.
I'm happy.
Yeah. Okay.
From I think what we've kind of built here in a short amount of time, changing the schedule up a little bit, getting some guys in here that can flat out go, and the excitement I think around what's going on is the fun part. The players are just as excited as our coaching staff is here. So and like I said, practice started yesterday, and we leave in I don't know 9-10 days or something for the first tournament. So it's go time.
Yeah. You just like hit the ground running completely, right? So with we've talked about this a little bit before, Andy, like your approach, are you working on like the game with the players? Are you like hands-on with the players? Are you more of kind of like a behind the scenes, like a mental, component of their playing careers here?
Yes to all three questions.
Yeah. Are you getting involved? Like you're out on the range with them, like you're working on things with them. Obviously we saw Val here. I was hoping he'd go by so we could catch him to come in and say hello. But
someone's got to work.
What's yeah. Thanks, Val. Thanks for doing that. What's so what's your role directly with the players, would you say?
Everything that you could possibly ask. I'm definitely, I would say, as hands-on as a coach can get.
Okay.
We were playing last week. We had a bonding trip up in northern Michigan, which was incredible. Went and played Kingsley. We played Lock and Heath. We played True North. I mean, just 3 unbelievable golf courses. Like
I've heard of Kingsley. A friend of mine, he does like the Golf Digest rankings and stuff like that, and he spoke very highly of Kingsley. So
all 3
yeah,
of those, right?
yeah.
I mean, I mean, True North was in such unbelievable shape. You didn't want to take a divot. Like, I was so shallow all the shots. And then Lock and Heath is just a big boys golf course. I mean, I just loved playing there. I could play there every day and be happy. So, while we were there, you get into, in the round I got into, with one of my players, I saw some of the mistakes he was making, and I couldn't not get into coach mode, right?
Right.
And so then we started talking some stuff, and instantly he started seeing the ball do something a little bit different, which was just going to be conducive to scoring. That's all I'm going to do, right?
Right.
I'm not into, I'm not going to be the coach that sits behind you on the range, taping your swing, talking about swing playing all day. Swing playing doesn't hit golf shots, right?
Right.
Players hit golf shots. And our thing is, everyone's take your hands out of it. Well, there's nothing else holding the club. So let's use these things the right way. And so, I think that, and I tell the guys, I'm never going to tell you to hit a golf shot that I can't hit. And so we get to work. The last couple of days I had some other players. We have the English Am champ on the team, Rory McDonald O'Brien. And he transferred in. He was going to come play for me, earlier over at VCU. And then when I came over here, he came with me, which is awesome. He was a big catalyst for me, getting the take of this job was could he come with me. And, we just worked on a lot of we're working on pre and post shot routines right now.
That seems to be like a trend in a lot of our conversations. So, every other week we've got kind of an NCAA player on, or a PGA Tour Americas or a Korn Ferry Tour player or something, and like pre-shot routine seems to be a big topic right now. I think that's like part of the mental game too. People are starting to like get more involved in that. Cam kind of talked about that in great lengths with me, how there's a lot of approach to like the mental game, and when you were saying, some of the players had kind of left your program before or after, went and taking coaching jobs and stuff, and then kind of called you back and explained that you were sort of like a mentor to them without them knowing, right? So is that something that you're trying to give to the players too, not just like a playing experience, but like a professional growth, hopefully moving them on to that next level? You've been there, like you said, there's no shot that you'll ask them to play or hit that you can't. You think you can give them that extra like piece of professional development that maybe they're missing somewhere else?
I know I can, and that's why I coach. The passion comes from being able to. I get paid to share my experiences over the last 40 years in this game with players that want to do what I've done, and that's like I said, I was talking to my wife this morning about it, and we're talking. I don't feel like I've ever worked a day because this is what I love to do.
Yeah, that's a good feeling.
I'm not like, dreading going into the office. Like, I can't wait to get here. You're like, how early can we get there tomorrow? I was like, you tell me how early. 8 o'clock tomorrow?
Yeah.
No. Like,
yeah.
Look, let's roll. Right? I can get there early, and I get to hang out at places like this all day and share experiences. So, one thing I tell, my players is I'm not afraid to coach you.
Yeah.
Right? And kind of my mantra with getting players is, average players want to be left alone.
Yeah.
And good players want to be coached, and great players want to be told the truth.
Yeah, golf's a pretty humbling sport too,
and we don't always want to hear the truth.
Yeah.
Right? And sometimes the truth isn't, we got to say it to different players in different ways, and you got to have a little bit more couth with this player over here. You can be a little bit more raw, right? And so that's the thing, is just trying to. But at the end of the day, that my players know that it's coming from a place of honesty and passion, and I want to see them. Dude, I won a national championship in '97 playing golf. That's the pinnacle of college athletics. It's a very small fraternity, and I know what that helped me do professionally, and how that set a palette for the rest of my life.
Well, it's I've talked about that too with quite a few players, and we kind of talked about that with some of the athletes here, and how some players just have something. Like, you're kind of talking with them, you get off the call with them, and same thing with Cam, like when we were talking with him, and you know, some players just like have that something, and then, you know, Cam's in the Canadian Open a couple months ago and stuff, right? Like, different things happen with different players. They got that like really good, you know, kind of makeup, and I just don't know that I'm trying to think. I don't know that there's another game more truthful than golf. Like, when you are out on the course, like, it's like you're there with the ball and you have to make everything work for yourself, and you get instant feedback, like truth right away.
That's right.
And then you can't really hide from it. And I think we kind of see that in not just professional sports, but we get to see it on TV. Yeah. But it does filter down to the college level. It filters down to the casual level, like like some of us golfers now, and just kind of like, nobody wants to admit to themselves like they may not have that shot or anything anymore, or they don't have the ability to hit that shot. But
you know what? That's where the maturity in this game comes.
Yeah.
Because realizing not everyone on tour hits every golf shot.
Yeah.
I mean, you got 99% of the players that are hitting one shot all day.
Right.
They're either fading it or they're drawing it. And if the fade isn't working, then they're slicing it.
Yeah.
Right? But they're never trying to do, you know, there's a very small handful of guys that can, and women that can hit both shots on command all the time. And their name is Sergio. And then besides that, that's about it. Right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, you know, so that's the thing, is, as I tell my players all the time, is we got to be mature enough when we're playing to hit the shot that we know we can hit, not the one we think we should.
Right.
And so when you're down in the locker room, you're going to see something soon that's going to be up there. And I heard it from Howard Twitty about 15 years ago. And Howard told me that golf is a compromise between what your ego wants you to do, what experience tells you to do, and what your nerves allow you to do. And that is so deep, man.
Yeah.
That has been my mantra as a coach, as an instructor, everything that I do. But it's almost how I live my life, right? Because, I mean, we can't do anything scared.
Yeah. It's giving me goosebumps, man.
And our ego wants us, I can hit driver here because I'm feeling it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't even know what feeling it means. Like, that's dumb.
Yeah.
Like, you know, there's feels in the game. There's no feelings in the game.
Right.
And so, you know, that's where, you know, work with the players to find out what shot can you hit right now. Take your ego out of this. And sometimes it's the most aggressive play that we know we can pull off because it's a good wind, it's a good lie, stance, situation, pin, whatever it is, club in our hand. And then there's a lot of times, I mean, every right-handed golfer hates wind coming in off the left. That's just not comfortable for a fade.
Right.
Someone that fades it, they're going to overspin it.
Yep.
You know, someone that draws the ball, it starts out right and it keeps, you know.
Holds it out, yeah.
You know,
yeah.
It keeps going right. So, you know, the worst thing I ever hear is someone says, I'm going to turn it into the wind. I go, no, you're not.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen. Doesn't happen, right? You can pull one, the wind may hold it up a little bit. We're not going to turn it into the wind, right? So.
Yeah.
You know, so that's just, you know, when I'm coaching players, I'm always working on the golf swing and the putting stroke and chipping technique and all that through our mental approach, through our setup, through our routine. So we talked earlier about pre-shot being important. I think post-shot routine is more important than pre-shot routine.
Okay, can you elaborate a little on that one?
So everyone has some kind of pre-shot routine, whether it's good or bad. Right? And then we execute a golf shot. How do we react to a golf shot? That is your post-shot routine.
So when you're encouraging your players to react to the post-shot, whether it's good or bad, are you trying to encourage the same thing each time?
I want us to leave with a mental and emotional deposit on every swing that we make.
Okay.
So for example, you see players all the time hit tee shots. Okay, so how many rounds of golf have you played in your life? Thousands.
Yeah.
Right? Have you ever seen somebody fist pump a drive?
No.
No. Have you ever seen them throw a club or drop an F-bomb or slam their driver?
I've seen some playing partners do that. Yeah, sorry, Corey. Yeah.
Okay. All the time,
yeah.
huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Happens all the time.
Yeah.
Every round of golf I've played, I've seen somebody drop an F-bomb,
yep.
slam a club, toss one over, give a negative, reaction.
Yeah.
Okay? Never do I see anyone celebrate a drive.
Right.
So every time we hit a drive, there is either no deposit or a withdrawal. How do we play if we only have withdrawals in our bank account?
Yeah.
In our emotional, mental bank account.
Yeah.
So every time we pull that driver back out, there's never a good positive, screensaver that turns back on when we pull that club out. And so I teach my players how to, have that mental and emotional deposit every time. Now, am I going to tell you guys on this podcast how I do it? Hell no, I'm not going to do it. You got to come play for me. You pay me for that information, right? But no, the thing is there's ways to do it, and so I try and those mental and emotional deposits, the way that we react to golf shots, everyone has a physical game plan. Not everyone has an emotional game plan.
Right.
So we know we want to hit driver on one, but we don't know how we want to act when we missed a fairway, because it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We're not going to hit 14 fairways. We're not going to hit 18 greens. We're not going to have 18 putts. So guess what? We're going to miss a lot. All right? How do we react then? Because we don't have, if we know how we're going to react, right, then we don't get angry. We're in control of our emotions, which now starts to manifest itself in the move we make. I don't believe in, I just happened to hit a bad shot, and it just happened to be the 18th hole.
Yeah, there's going to be tension. There's going to be build-up and things like that
That's
you,
right.
like, yeah, whether you want to call it, like, recency bias or anything like that, it's going to make you perform differently, right? So,
100%.
Making those deposits and withdrawals, I like that.
Twirl gang, give me that driver, I let it bang. Twirl gang, give me that wedge, I'm taking that aim. Twirl gang, twirl gang, twirl. If you ain't twirling hitter, you lame. You sick of the twirling hitter, you gang. Yeah, I'm twirling my stick.
Andy, like, what would you say are some of, like, the challenges that you face, like, when you, not just coming into, like, a new school or a new program, but just, like, being in the professional golf space, like, as a coach, like, what are some of your biggest challenges?
It's really trying to relate to new groups of players. I've got 9 with Tim's coming, but I've got 9 new players that I've never seen play for me in competition, right? And so I have to relay a message to the whole team one time 10 different ways.
Yeah, you have to, like, individual.
Right.
Yeah,
So
you gotta. Yeah.
So it's like, this guy you got to give a hug to. This guy you can kind of give him a little bump of the elbow. This
Yeah.
guy here you got to kind of massage his shoulders. This guy here you got to tell him something. This one you got to show him, But
Yeah.
I don't have 10 hours a day of practice, right? We have a few hours a day of practice. So it's how do we relay those messages? And that's where, having a good coaching staff, which I have great coaching staff. I brought on Ryan Yip, who, Canadian.
Yep.
Great player. Good professional, was a great college player. He's doing a great job coaching over at Kent State. Had the opportunity to bring him in. That was a no-brainer when he wanted to join the staff. And then Valentin Bounier. So how'd you like that?
That was pretty good. That was pretty good. Like, guys, I was saying, I was hoping to give Val some of the French-Canadian accent or something, but I don't have any of it. I don't have any of it for him.
So I can't understand what he says half the time either.
Yeah.
So that's okay. But, great player, just graduated from Illinois State. He came in as well, and so he's going to add a lot to it. And he's younger, so he can relate to some of the players.
Yeah.
Right? And that was the main reason bringing him in. And so
Yeah, he's got to be, like, in his late 20s maybe. Like
early. He just graduated last
Really?
year. Yeah, he's
Really?
like 24 or something like that.
Great beard.
Yeah,
Great
yeah,
beard,
he
Val.
does.
Yeah.
He looks like a
That's a
old
seasoned
coach
beard.
already.
Yeah.
And so, but we played with them last year when he was at Illinois State a few times, and I like how he moved around. I think he liked how I moved around. So he reached out when he got done and said, I want to try this coaching thing, not knowing there'd be an opportunity with me. And I told him, just hang loose because there's going to be something popping up. And so he jumped on it, and I'm happy to have him. So, and that's the thing, is really just communicating with these players the right way.
Right.
And making sure, because when you have 10 players, you've got 20 parents.
Yeah.
Right. So now we got 30.
Now you got 30 different personalities
30
to match.
personalities, and I don't mind that or whatever, but right, everyone thinks their kid's Tiger.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, my kid's the best player. Why are they not playing? Shot 75. No, he didn't. He told me he shot 68 in qualifying. Right. Yeah, I'm sure he did. So it's so it's like it's I think that part of it, but when we get down to golf, when we get to practice and we get to competition, that's when I feel like I have my most control over everything. Like,
Okay.
we're going to be emotionally ready for everything that happens, right? We're not going to be out there, squandering around. I think a lot of people, it gets more hectic come tournament time. For us, that's almost like, if we train the right way, I want our practices to be harder than the tournaments and the competition, and I want the work that we get done in practice rounds to be tougher. So when we get there, we're not in panic mode. We know what to expect already. We can be a little bit more proactive instead of reactive.
They're back.
They're back.
You guys made it. Val, can we get a quick hello Val, before we wrap up here? We were just introducing you. Can you come over and say hello? So this is Val. Andy had the pronunciation right, but Val's the assistant. There we go.
That's pretty good. Yeah, pretty good actually.
Yeah,
We wanted to put you on the spot,
I speak
and
French, you know,
yeah.
du toi, cat.
Yeah, we just wanted to put you on the spot, Val, and say hello. Thanks for popping by, man. But so, Andy, before we let you go, kind of what are the expectations for EMU this year?
Oh man, you know, I'm not, like I said, I'm not a big goal setter.
Okay.
Right? I want to win a national title, and that's every time we peg it, and no matter where I'm at. You know, but I think some of the goals here, first and foremost, is to get to this first tournament and see who are 5 are going to be playing. We have some depth on this team. I think obviously, you know, winning a MAC title is really big. It's, you know, kind of the first, you know, biggest thing. But I'm into setting goals. I mean, changing habits,
Right.
instead of the goal setting. So I think if we create the good habits here early, then we're going to far exceed our goals, right? I mean, your habits come in and they're going to show up in competition whether you want them to or not. So if we create good habits early, that's going to be what comes out in competition. But the main goal is I want to contend for a national title. I want to be playing match play, coming down the stretch where everything's on the line, and the best and most prepared team, you know, wins, and hopefully that'll be, you know, us playing. And so that's kind of to be honest, you know, we got the mics here. That's my mic drop moment. You know, I was fortunate to win one as a player. I won one as a junior college coach. I won one as a D2 coach, or a couple of them, you know, in some of those instances. And there's one left, right? And we get the mic drop over in San Diego. That might be a wrap for the kid. I might be out.
That's probably a good wrap, man. Thank you. It looks like, you know, you're a career winner, and I have no doubts it'll be here. It'll be here before we know it.
No, man, I appreciate you. You've been a great supporter, you know, since I've been coaching and stuff, and I appreciate it. And we always have fun and good conversations. And I'm glad we could finally do it in person.
Yeah, it's nice, man. It's just a little drive down down our 401, and then we come in and
got your whole setup.
we're in Ipsy. Yeah, it's great, man. It's great.
You know, all professional.
We'll grab a couple photos and stuff, and hopefully I get some good content to show you guys the facilities. And obviously, if you're a player and, you know, you're in high school and you're kind of like looking for college and stuff like that, maybe have a look at EMU. This is a beautiful spot. You know, get in touch with Coach Walker. This is a program, man. This is a really, really fun place to just be. And like when I was talking with Ty, and I'm trying to think of like all the different players. So like I always miss people because we got Ty, Michael Blair, Cam. Like everybody talks about how like just the feel of this program. All the guys are always like, you know, it's always so good. It's always so tight. Like the friendships are just so great. It sounds like you're really only going to build that program up, right? So.
Well, you know, there's a great palette here.
Yeah.
Right? And so they're letting me come in and put my fingerprint, you know, and on the program, and so it ain't gonna be for lack of effort, man. I tell you that much. So
we got EMU. Is there a men's athletic different like Instagram? Or is it men's and a women's, right?
Yeah. So the women's team have their own Instagram.
Okay.
We have our own Instagram, and then there's like a Eastern, you know, athletics.
Right.
Department, everything. So
we got Game Above and stuff too, which we've tagged in the. You can go find them in our followers and stuff too. But I'm going to tag everybody in the show notes below. I'm going to tag Coach Walker, Andy Walker. Just have a follow, man. College golf is awesome. Hopefully we see you down the stretch in the match play. Andy, thanks so much, man. Really appreciate you doing this.
Appreciate you.
Is out in my ball and of course so I tee up. I lose the ball and I re-up. I miss a fairway, I probably end up in the ocean or maybe the beach. And I'm on a par 5 and I'm finna go reach it. Second was blind, I ain't see it. Feel like it might be an albatross, worst case scenario.